Welcome back. You know, extensive research shows that boys in particular learn best through hands-on experimental learning that appeals to the different senses that involve action, movement, producing tangible outcomes. So how can teachers and parents better engage and empower boys both inside and outside of the classroom? Chris Post, headmaster at Boys Latin School of Maryland, now joining us to tell us more on this. Welcome aboard, sir. Glad to have you here.
Great to be here, Wyatt.
It's great to have you here. Many of us have driven by and through the beautiful campus there at Boys Latin School of Maryland. You really specialize in educating these young men and kind of playing to the strengths of boys in particular. Talk about that.
So first of all, Boys Latin is Maryland's oldest independent K-12 school for boys, founded in 1844. So next year we'll celebrate our 175th year. We've been doing this for a long time.
Just a few years there.
Just a few years, exactly.
Right.
But what we know now through research, through fMRI studies of the brain, is that boys and girls develop differently. And as a result, we know that boys need things like movement, action, classes where they can take information in small portions, in small doses, in order to have the most meaningful experience. So in a traditional all-boys environment, we're able to cater to their needs and to their strengths, and as a result, boys are able to grow, we think, more fully in that way. We know that boys benefit most from experiential hands-on learning. So we have a faculty member in the lower school who every year will receive a variety of trout eggs, and the boys will raise these fish from eggs until the point where they're able to be released at a local waterway. So for them to have that experience and to be able to see the process unfold before them is much more meaningful than just to read it in a book, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, hands-on. I mean, seeing the trout eggs. It's funny, I think back to when I was a youngster in school. I was always restless at the desk. You know, I didn't want to be locked in. So I get completely what you're saying with kind of engaging the young men. You also talk about allowing them to achieve their true excellence and maybe their true self. Talk more about that.
Well, again, I think that we know that our job as educators is to help good boys grow to be great men. So in an all-boys environment, we're able, through well-crafted advisory programs, through retreat programs, through interdisciplinary studies like our launch program in our upper school, to help boys experience not just who they are, but who they want to be be modeled for the future.
I think there's also that sort of developing these boys in such a way that they can, you know, work into the community, even at a young age, kind of that sense of community and getting involved in the community. It seems Boys Latin is involved on that front as well.
Well, we understand that obviously the experience on Lake Avenue is important, but it's more important what our boys are able to do once they go out into the world. And so again, beginning in our lower school, there are opportunities for engagement with the broader community to give our boys a sense of the opportunities that they have, but also the responsibilities therein to go out and to make a difference. And so whether that's our students just in this holiday season of leading a variety of outreach efforts to be engaged with other agencies, to being directly involved in service programs throughout the course of the year, it makes a difference for our boys.
You know, you have that ability at your institution in particular to take these young men from really the beginning of their school years right through their senior year. And so that's something somewhat unique among some of the private boys' schools in Baltimore.
It is. We begin in kindergarten, and students will matriculate all the way through their senior year. One of the most gratifying things when a boy graduates from our school, we'll stand out front of our main building, Williams Hall, and our faculty will talk about the accomplishments of a young man, but more so who he's become and what the opportunities are that he has for the future.
Two last quick things. Your class size there, talk about that. Mention the average size.
Yeah, the average class size is about 12 students, but our students in the upper school experience sections of 6 or 8. So literally there is no back row for our boys.
That's a huge advantage. And lastly, if you're interested, you are hosting a coffee. You can sign up online, boyslatinmd.com. And this is 9 a.m. to 10:30 coming up January 10th?
That's right. We'll look forward to seeing folks in the new year.
And you will be there, and they can ask any additional questions. Well, Headmaster with Boys Latin School, thank you so much, Chris Post, for coming aboard today.
Thanks for having us, Wyatt.
All right. And we will be back with more Midday Maryland right after this. Stay here. Hope you enjoyed the show today, and such an important